calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's at work to safe haven. Attacking 12, take a check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2-1 Charlie, get shot as well.
Also still stands for talk. No. Offender in custody. Okay. If anyone else follows my to rest out, let me know. First number. 10-4. Check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2-1 Charlie, get shot as well.
Also still stands for talk. No. Offender in custody. Anyone else follows my to rest out, let me know. 10-5.
3-3. I'm going to supervisor and now that I have a case report with an aggressive attack.
1830.
Yeah, possible Sheridan and Wilson.
First number. 10-4. Is Williams still on? 37 Fulton. I'm sorry, wait a copy here, lovely. Try that one more time, puppy. 847 Fulton. 847 Fulton, okay. 4234 in the unit coming over to domestic battery at 1815 North Winchester, 18.5 for Winchester. Johnnie indicated the caller and the owner of the vehicle
There we go. Get that music turned down. All those birds. Oh my gosh, that sounds so beautiful, Veronica. Oh, the birds. I love spring. I miss the warm weather. I always love hearing the sound of birds chirping. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Veronica, as well.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And sorry about the technical issues there. StreamYard's still doing some kind of updates, and it's just nothing but technical bugs. I don't know. It's kind of getting crappy, but we're gonna be talking. We've kind of been like talking in the background the last week, especially with the accident stuff. The report finally came out. How the accident took place finally came out. If you are a member, I just dropped like 6 videos yesterday. Some GoPro, some Samsung high definition, but I thought it was important to also record each direction driving on that intersection, when it comes to the accident. I was kind of shocked because after the report came out and learning where the cars were driving from specifically, it was on the complete opposite side that I thought where they were actually driving, just based off of the location. But the interesting thing is while I was doing one of those videos, the neighbor that lives across the street came up and started talking to me about the accident. And the crazy thing is he was saying that intersection is just notorious for these kind of accidents. And he said even in the summer when the crops are growing and it blocks everything even more. But he said it's a very dangerous intersection right there. So it was interesting. His sister was out there. His sister Angela, I was out there. She stopped. She was on her way to her mom's. Actually driving west on Iona Church Road. Pulled over there at the corner. She's pretty upset with her personal information getting put out there. You know what I'm saying? All up on, because she had those posts on Facebook, about her baby brother and a lot of the talk that has been taking place on certain platforms. It's got to be really stressful for them too, just because she even said it herself. She was like, and now I'm supposed to be a target, and I'm just like, I'm sorry for that,
Right. Yeah, people didn't think about that. That's what try to let people know to redact the names at least, because they still have to live there.
Right, and it's a very small community. Sorry about that. It's a very small community. Everybody knows everybody. And then especially, it's one thing to like do the flashy, dramatic clicks and views stuff, but these are real people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
all you have to do is put your foot in the other shoe, and it's not that hard to figure out.
Right.
Now, we're going to be discussing some other stuff too. I reached out to Veronica. I said, hey, if it goes a little long, are we able to do a part two? Because we're going to be discussing a lot of stuff. The accident that took place just recently, and also uh, the day that Mica was found as well, some of the confusion. And, on our side, we've also, as far as I know to date, I don't know anybody else that has. And I do have to shout out Narc Divers. Let me drop his link in chat. Me and him were the only ones to this date, to my knowledge, that have been out on Lumber River State Park, have duplicated the story. Not only out there and explored in that area. I've been out to Lumber River 10, 11 times. I still plan on going back in the future, but we're the only ones that have been on the boat actually going through the slough and how Johnnie got to Mica. As far to my knowledge, I'm the only one that has the recorded video showing the routes from Lumber River to the different locations. One of the things, we'll talk about the 3 locations of the lighter. So we're going to be getting into a lot of stuff. And I believe you are the last person that interviewed Johnnie, right? When it came to the events that took place that day.
Yeah, I was, and we were gonna talk more, but it just didn't work out to happen. I talked to him off and on in between,
Yeah.
and he, he's told me some more information, and but yeah, as far as I know, I'm the last person he did speak to.
Right. Yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of confusion. And I'm going to try and have, I think Trey is later this week, towards the end of the week. I think we're going to try and get together and do a show too. And if you'd like to join for that, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
The first thing I do want to talk about, and thank you all for being here. The first thing I do want to talk about is the accident scene. Okay. Now, I will say one thing. I've been out there a couple times. There's a lot of pieces that weren't there the last time that were there before. So that I thought that was kind of interesting. But this is one of the shots here of the accident scene. Now, what I'm going to do is, it is members only, but I'm going to play the videos of the directions that each car was driving. So when we're getting into the document and the report, you'll be able to see or kind of sense the path that person was driving, and kind of get a sense of the area. But there's 2 major things when it comes to this accident scene. And let me do this real quick. 1 second. We'll change this to circles so you guys can see it even better. Okay. So when we're looking at this accident scene, okay, you got there's damage all over. Okay, this right here is where that silver part of the Chevy chrome plastic looking piece fits on the grill. There's the grill, and then there's that silver piece. Now that silver piece is not there anymore. But you can see that there's a trail that goes this way, and then there's another spot right over here where you see it's more of like this spot, but it's in one specific area. But over here, you see where a vehicle slammed into the dirt, and then you could tell where it flipped, and then kind of landed right there. So the interesting thing about this is that right behind me to my right, there's all of these buildings, and it kind of blocks the intersection if a car is driving on this road going this way, and then it also kind of drives it if the car is on this road going that way, because at that corner it blocks a lot of the area. But in fact, one of the cars was driving down this road going this way, and then Johnny was up here going this way. Now you're coming up over a hill, and I'll show you guys the video. We're coming up over a hill right up around here, and then you kind of just you're both going about 45-55 mile an hour, but according to that neighbor, there is a lot of those kind of accidents there. So I'm gonna play. Let me switch to the accident report, so you can see right here. So basically, where this picture was at was me standing right here, and the picture was going this way. Okay, so that long dark spot was right here, and that small concentrated area was right here, and you could see that there was damage or alteration to the ground right there from a vehicle. So I had always thought that, like I said before, the car came from here and was going this way, and he was coming this way. And I didn't understand how the damage ended up back over there. But now, after the accident report comes out, and I'm seeing how this took place, I don't know if that's a T-bone. That's more of like a head-on collision, so to speak. I don't,
Right.
I was shocked when I heard that, because I expected like in the side of the vehicle or something.
Right, I did too.
Right. So that didn't make sense. But when this accident report came out, and I started, looking at, okay, well, this spot makes sense, and now I understand why this part of this vehicle was here, and all of those different things. It kind of does make sense. And then, when I'm there, I wasn't there at the later hours of the evening. But when the neighbor that lived next door came over and started talking to me about it, and how there's accidents that happen all the time at that intersection, especially because of the blind spot over here, because of all the buildings that line up right there. But also, he was talking about the blind spot from here because of the crops at a certain time of the year. And you'll see, I'm going to show you Johnny's point of view heading to the intersection, and I'm going to show you the other car's point of view headed to the intersection, just so you guys have a better understanding of what it was like there. So first, I'm going to play this video. This was, let me see here. All right, let me see here. This was, and I'm gonna play those second. I'm gonna play Walking Around first. Let's see here. Okay. Here. Okay. But I'm gonna walk you guys around. I apologize. It's so bright out. I can't see what's being typed, but I'll try my best. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you over. Actually, let me play a different version. Hold on 1 second. Because I forgot it shows up clear on StreamYard if I play it from a different way. Okay, so let me pull it up this way. All right, this should be a lot clearer.
CJ, with the buildings, are you talking about I guess it's the silos? Is that what those like tower things on the farms and stuff are called?
Yeah, I don't know, it's
Okay.
weird. It's weird. It's a weird building. Here, let me pull up the location on Google so I can show you. I have video of it. Because
Yeah, it's
it
like those
to
tall
me
things. Yeah.
yeah, well, and it's got square buildings that line up all the way down too.
Oh,
Um
okay.
yeah, I mean it literally it literally like it goes for quite a distance, and so that's why when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking the cars came from the right and behind me looking at this view that we're showing, because even when I was talking to the neighbor over there, I was like, man, I can see how like these buildings camouflage and stuff.
Yeah, and it's
Would
probably
camouflage.
really dark too out there, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah. He said it was crazy dark out there as well. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no lighting. You got medical clubs right there. Those are not those. Uh, there, there's different pieces. I mean, it was way back there. And to me, it was like I said, when I went there and I looked at the damage, it was like it was a head-on collision from all the pieces that were shattered. Um, Here, let me put us over here. From all the pieces that were shattered, it looked like a head-on, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild how much damage and car pieces and stuff you see.
yeah, like right there, there's the one dark spot. That's where the truck ended up, right there. Okay.
Looks like maybe even a brake pad.
Yeah, just little pieces everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, just you can see just little pieces everywhere, and it was just like, this is not a T-bone.
Right.
You know, that's one of the things his sister mentioned was, because I hadn't seen the accident report. See, there's one of the spots where you can see the vehicle landed.
Mhm.
Little pieces. You can see right there. You can see the damage from when the vehicle hit the
Do you
curb.
know if the final resting spot was like on the tires or like on which side it landed?
No, I do not know specifically. I heard it was upside down,
Okay.
but I it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I It's only what you hear, not
Right.
what is confirmed. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
this is a crazy thing is there's a lot of shotgun shells laying around there too. Not that there's obviously other debris, Mountain
Yeah.
Dew bottles and things like that. So not to say that necessarily um, it was involved or anything, but I found it very shocking. It's the first time I showed up to an accident scene where there was shotgun
Right.
shells laying all over the ground. Um,
Unless maybe they came out of one of the cars or something. Maybe hunting.
maybe, but yeah, you can see just little pieces, fuse box cover. I mean, it was a catastrophic collision. Um, like I said, you can have the raw versions, or I got GoPro and Samsung HD versions up for members. I have a couple videos um, for everybody. I'll be putting more footage out here soon because I got plenty more and a ton of photos too. I kind of put out a video about that before. There's a nice little memorial with flowers there. Um, and I'm going to show you a different perspective too uh, when it comes to like that whole surrounding area. Uh, just little pieces. It was a Mercedes and a Chevy. Um, yeah, but the his sister said the accident doesn't seem suspicious to her. And at that time, I hadn't seen the accident report. It wasn't making sense to me. How does a T-bone do this? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? How does a
Yeah.
T-bone do this? Um, there's part of the Chevy grill.
Yeah.
No, the family's upset at the people um, that are talking very negatively about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people should be more respectful. I mean, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah, I mean, they're really upset about their names being put out there.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Um, did that skip for you guys? Maybe it didn't work better than the other way. Let me know if that skipped for you while it was playing. I'm gonna give you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No.
Um, I'm gonna give you guys a different point of view now. Now, this is the the drives going in certain directions, and then also like a 360 It did skip. All right, I'll play it a different way here and let me know. It cuts down on the clarity through StreamYard. So, but then I don't know. It's what do you go with? You know, that's why I post the raw videos for you guys up on.
It really helps put things into perspective when you can actually see the layout and
It's like you're
see how
there.
everything is. Yeah.
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 All right. So let me see here. Where's my list at? I have them all written down. 1 second. You got so many damn notes. 1 second. Notes and notebooks. Here we go. Okay. So let me do the GoPro on StreamYard. So 1, 2, 4, 2. So this is kind of walking around, showing you the area. Okay. So see these buildings right here, right? I thought the car was coming towards us and the other car was coming from the right. Because when you're looking at this spot here, and I kind of do like a circle, I go in the road there. See all those buildings going all the way down. So as you're driving on those roads, those buildings it blocks each other on that highway there. But this right here is where the accident took place, right here at this spot. And as I kind of turn to the right, you kind of see how there's like the dark area where the vehicles collided. The fluids of the vehicles started to spill out onto the pavement. And then you see in the previous video, you see the damage that was created, or the disturbances in the ground that was created from one vehicle, and then the other vehicle went to the right side of that telephone pole, and then that's where you see the two different dark spots from that point of view. But instead, it was from these two directions right here that they were coming from. Now, if you're looking at this, you're going to be like, oh, that's flat. It looks like there's good sight going for a while. This one too, you're coming up. Yeah, you get past that house, but then it's an open field. But the thing is when you're coming from this area, you're actually coming up a hill, and then you just have a few seconds of driving flat. And plus, you're from that area, you know that it's not a stop sign, so you're not really going to be focused on trying to stop, and you're going to think the cars that are coming the other, on that other road
Right.
are going to be obeying the traffic laws. But yeah, this right here, all of these buildings right here. So that's why I thought it had happened there. But then the damage right there, it's like, Oh, thank you, Jamie. And thank you everybody for being here with us.
Do you know, like, about how dark it is in that area around that time? Is it like the sun just setting, or does it get dark late there?
Well, the neighbor said, well, here's the thing. You're out in the country. All right. The closest gas station. Now I did the route from Myrtle Beach to up there. Now there could have been a gas station 20 minutes down the road to, behind me as we're looking at this direction. There could have been, I don't know. There could have been a gas station 30 minutes to our right, straight ahead I don't know. I didn't come up that road. I came up Rainham Road from the south. Yeah, coming up from the south. And it was like 35 minutes until I came across the gas station. You're out in the middle of nowhere. So when you're out in the country, it automatically gets crazy dark. That's why you got the most beautiful skies in the countries, because you get to see all the stars. But when it comes to these areas, and that's one of the things I asked that neighbor when he came up and was talking to me, it gets pitch black there.
Yeah.
So if you're looking down at your phone, or you're busy, or you're occupied or something, you might miss a sign, because there's a stop sign posted, and then way before that there's a sign saying that there's a stop sign posted on both sides.
Mhm.
So if it's that dark, you're not paying attention, you know, and you're driving out in country roads.
I know some places it'd be so dark you can't even see your hand in front of you. It's so dark.
Yeah, and it gets really dark. I mean, there's miles and miles and miles before they got city lights.
Right. So but there's like daylight savings time there where it gets darker later.
I don't
Because I
know.
know, like with us, like when we set our clocks back or ahead, like here it probably don't start getting dark now until about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. But when we're an hour or we set our clocks back, then it
I don't know.
gets dark around 5, 6.
Let me see. Let me see it. Let me see sunset. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this area. 7:30 p.m. is sunset.
Okay, so it there would have still been some light. So if the sun's going, yeah, if I'm thinking right.
So
Yes.
7:30 sunset, within 10 or 15 minutes you're dark,
Right.
you know, and then after that it just gets darker and darker and darker
Right.
and darker. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, Lori's right. It's not too far from Lumber River State Park. It's actually, if you're heading from Myrtle Beach and you're going to Lumber River State Park, it's actually more north of Lumber River State Park, probably 15-20 minutes north of Lumber River State Park. So it is really out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to give you the view of the vehicle number 1, and that will be the person that hit Johnnie. Okay, so this will be, and these are all members only. You know, you don't have to have StreamYard's version. You can have the raw HD on there. So let me see here. So going north on Rainham Road, 142542 is the video. So this will be going north. So this would have been the car that ended up hitting Johnnie. So this would have been their path here. And thank you for the gifted membership, Veronica. Thank you so much. So this would be their path. So there's a lot of farms, a lot of buildings. So as we're getting, see, you got the line of trees right here. As we're moving through the line of trees, that's when we're getting to the intersection here. So as we pass, so right there. So this is, you can see the buildings straight up ahead, the line of buildings going to the right. We're heading to this intersection. And so really, let me go back just a skosh. So right as you see that fence kind of blocks it a little bit. So as we get to about right there, that's when this vehicle, but you got to keep in mind, you have to assume that everybody was following the speed limit. Maybe they weren't. Maybe this car wasn't. Maybe he wasn't. We don't know. But assuming based off of the speed limit, it's 55, but 45 when you get to the intersection. There should be, because we still have a good few seconds before we get there. But at the same time, when you're talking about being distracted or something, that couple seconds is all that it can take.
Right. Yeah, it don't take long.
Nope, just a couple seconds until we're here at the stop sign. And then right about, obviously you can see right where the darkness in the middle of the road goes off to the right. That's where the accident went. Right there. So there's a stop sign, and there's a sign before the stop sign that clearly says there's a stop sign. Okay, so now let me see. So now we're heading east. We're going to be heading east on Iona Church. So this is what that perspective would be. 143 646. All right. So this will be the perspective of Johnnie. So you can see there's a lot of the trees, and you can see right as you're starting to get close to it, you're actually coming up a hill. So you don't really see too much, except for once you open up to that field, then you can see it to the right. But it's beautiful area. It's got to be crazy dark. It's got to be crazy dark.
And it seems like he would have had more obstruction in the way of like being able to see like off to the side, and then the other guy did on his path.
Okay, see, right. So
Okay.
as right about here, so you can see you're still coming up a hill. So if
Right.
you look to the right, oh shoot. You're coming up, you're inclining, but there's also some space where it is open as well. But see, you're still coming up a hill. Like you can't see that road to the right or to the left. You're still coming at an incline. And then right about here is where it starts to flatten out. But again, if you're assuming cars are going the speed limit, it's like that quick. But at the same time, it seems like there would be.
Need some caution lights or something there, especially with all the accidents that do happen in that one area.
Yeah, because you're assuming that people are going to be coming to a stop.
Yeah.
I'm sure at the last second when they didn't come to a stop, it was like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's kind of too late. What do you do?
Right. You think that it's just like when somebody puts on their turn signal, you think they're going to turn,
Yeah, and then they don't. And that's why I always wait for them to turn.
You just think, and yes, at the same time too, no seat belts also equals trouble, because
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
There are a lot of country
Uh,
folks, they're out on their roads that they're used to, and I mean, they're like, well, I'm just going up to the store, whatever, and
yeah,
they're
it's the
not
same
thinking
old
something like
roads
this is,
that barely
yeah,
anybody. It's not downtown traffic, you know.
right, right.
Um, Here, let me. There was something else I was gonna show. Let me see here. Um, let's see. 11243. All right, so that's some GoPro there. Just showing that again. You can see all those buildings there. I mean, it was just instant. Um, just very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting ready to head out to Myrtle Beach. Because Trey and I came out here, or out there last September, and recreated the path at Lumber River State Park. And the damage, it was crazy. The damage went all the way back to here. So if you see that big puddle that's right there going from left to right, the damage and debris ended up that far back from that corner there. So as I turn around, you'll see, in fact, how far. That's how far back
That's
a lot of
crazy.
that debris. Yeah. Whoops. Hold on. Yeah, back that far.
There had to be some speed involved with that. I don't
Had to
see
be.
just, yeah,
Well, I mean, that's the one thing. I was driving out there. Listen, it ain't too hard to be cruising down the country road. The fresh air, no other vehicles are out there. You're driving by farms. Next thing you're like, oh shoot, I'm going 60. It ain't. It's easy to do,
oh yeah, oh yeah,
and yeah, it had to be like like with how all the debris was. It really did. It had to be so catastrophic, like the
yeah.
so.
I thought I read somewhere like the speed limit that I guess they were doing was like 55 or something.
Well, it's 55, but 45 when you come to the intersection. You're supposed to. You're
And they
supposed to.
don't have the speed bumps, do they? The little.
No, no,
They need to have that
no.
too.
Well, I mean, that is the most efficient way. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if
Yeah, because
instead of,
you're fixing to stop.
well, plus it'll, if they are distracted. I mean, it's like that homeowner said that lived there that came up and talked to me that is, he said like it was like last year was 10 to 15 accidents just at that intersection
Yeah,
last year alone. And he's like,
yeah,
it's bad. It's bad. He goes, it's on all four sides. Uh, but he said it's bad there. So that
yeah,
would be the most efficient way. Get a frickin' a street saw and zip, zip, zip. Add some,
yeah. Well,
right
maybe with
before you.
this, maybe with talking about it and stuff, maybe that's something that, maybe they'll do now in order. I mean, it could save another life.
I mean, it's the easy way to do it, really. I mean, how
Yeah,
was it? Do you take an afternoon to go saw some zips in the
right.
pavement, so when cars drive over it, brr, brr, oh shoot!
Yeah,
Especially if it's a intersection where that takes place a lot, and
right.
like the homeowner said, he's like in the summer and the fall with all the crops that are growing there, he's like it's totally camouflaged. So if you're thinking about as you're going up this way, you're going up this way, and then there's a bunch of crops as soon as you come up over this incline, and there's a bunch of crops, and you don't see what could be maybe a vehicle coming until about right there, and all of a sudden, whoa, like just because of crops, you got to
Yeah.
have something. You have to.
Yeah, and it's easy to miss even like you're fixing to stop ahead. It's easy to miss those, especially at night.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the person, who knows, maybe they were tired. It gets boring driving out in the country too because there's nothing to look at.
Right.
I drive it
Yeah, or
plenty.
make it a four-way stop, like Michael says. Something. I mean,
So let me switch back to this. Who calculated it at 70? I mean, hold on, let me let's see. Let's see. All right. So let's see. This is what they're estimating. All right here. Authorized speed limit 55. There's signs that say 45 when you get to the intersection. So estimate of original traveling speed 55/50. Estimate of speed at impact 55 and 50, which means that Johnnie probably tried to slow down and avoid it, seeing it at the last second there. So they're estimating the speed of 55 for vehicle 1 and 50 for vehicle 2. So basically, this person didn't speed up, didn't slow down, and Johnnie was going 55 and ended up going 50. And I think it's because when you see um, the dark skid on the road, it was probably him with his brakes that were locked up as it got impacted because uh, at the last second noticed, oh, that car's not stopping. That's supposed to be.
right.
So it's going to be an initial reaction for your body to hit the brake because at that last second you realize that uh, oh shoot, they're not stopping.
Right. Yeah. And probably try to swerve some or something, trying to miss them.
Yeah, yeah, and then right there. Yeah, it's just a sad situation, sad events. I'm glad that you know you had got to talk to him about all that stuff when it came to the day that Mica was found because there's uh, a lot of different, I don't know, there's just some different statements about the lighter and the
Right.
money and such like that.
Yeah.
Um, let me show you guys this video here. Yeah, StreamYard's doing some updates. And things are starting to change and they're not working so good. So, I'm glad that you got to sit down and talk to him. That was back. When was that? That was back in
About 5.
October, November, somewhere around there.
No, I think it was. Let's see. What November? Because that was the FBI raid. I remember he called me that day when the FBI raid was going on. And let's see, 6 months ago. Let me see if I can look real quick. No, yeah, it was about 5 or 6 months ago. But it was before the raid.
Yeah. Like right before.
Yeah, because he called me the day of the raid and he was all excited.
Yeah.
The FBI was raiding JP Diddy and I didn't really get to speak to him very much because it was actually my first day starting at my job, so I didn't really get to talk to him that much that day. But he was excited about the FBI raiding.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things in all of the interviews that he did was he did say that he did say that it always seemed suspicious.
Yeah.
And he did bring up, in one of the first couple interviews, this is the area that he would have been going back through. He was one of the first ones that even brought up somebody's lawyer and possibly land being connected by the area and all that.
Yeah, because he started looking into stuff like immediately after, because he was, I don't know, he just, I guess, had that feeling that he just knew something wasn't right.
Yeah, something wasn't right. Let me let's see. It's so actually had to go back with the trolling motor because there's so many trees and stuff that like literally got stuck a few times just trying to go back there. Had to go at a slow pace, had to maneuver. And so, the fact that even going back here was kind of crazy because here, let me go back to the beginning here. Let me scoot into when we first actually start. Whoa, 1 second. Whoa, what's going on, StreamYard? Come on. All right, so we're out. So this is outside. We're in the Lumber River area. This is outside of the slough. Okay. And I thought that I had this posted for you guys. I was actually going to share the links, but I don't think that I ever posted this footage. So I'm going to dig through YouTube, find out if I have it posted. If not, I'm going to upload it for you members. Because there's GoPro and Samsung high def. I'll upload it. But I honestly thought it was uploaded already. But this is when, and shout out Narc Divers too. Let me drop his link. If you're not subbed, go sub up. Also, I'm gonna drop Veronica's again, and thank you for being up here, Veronica. We're gonna go into her videos too, with the interview that she has that she did with him back then as well. Um, so this is right outside now. See, as you kind of have to like you really want to have to go back in there because it's not only it's off the path, but as you start to go in, you really got to maneuver stuff. See, as we're kind of circling around, you really have to maneuver to get in there. So we're trying to. At this point, we had got stuck trying to go in there already. We're trying to have to regroup, uh, trying to figure out how we're going to get in there. And then this is as we're starting to get in there. And you can see it's a lot of constant maneuvering, getting stuck.
Yeah,
And
that was one of the things he talked about was because like the root balls and stuff that are in the water.
yeah. Yeah, and you can't tell because the water is so dark. It looks like motor oil. The water
Right.
does. It's so thick. You can't see an inch under, not even an inch underneath water level. You literally can't see what is underneath. Like it's not like you can look down at the water and see trees and whatever them things are coming out of the water, the tree stuff, the little spiky things. You
Mm-hmm.
can't see it. You're basically just
Going in blind.
yeah, you're blind and you have to feel to navigate. So see, it got stuck again. Something happened to the troll motor there. And that's just the troll motor. So you really have to navigate back there. Now, you'll kind of see how it gets real compact back there, too. It's not wide open as much as this is. Let me skip ahead a little bit. And it does have a weird current, too. On the surface, it doesn't look like the current is that strong, but it does have a pretty decent current. Yeah, this is the footage where Mica. It's actually the path of what he took. And see, it's more navigating. Got stuck again. You'll see as we go past the part where the flowers were at, you'll see off to the side. I apologize. I thought I posted these videos a long time ago. So, but you guys can see it's. So when he talked about going down the slough, this part of it, Veronica,
Mm-hmm.
what? Because it's completely different than that lake, that river, that body of water you see by the observation deck. You know that the whirlwind or whatever it's called, something whirl. It's a different part. It's like off the river, but the slough is like deep into the woods. And wait a minute. Yeah, deep into the woods. And it's like, yeah, right off to the left here, you see the
Oh wow.
yeah, right there. That's now it had washed back a little bit because of the
Someone's.
it, yeah, it had washed back a little bit um because of the
I,
storms that.
I don't think she was meant to be found, to be honest.
Yeah. What did he say when it came to coming back here? Because it's like you really have to want to go back there,
Right.
and you got to maneuver, and it's not like you can rush in and rush out. It is, you got to maneuver, and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he
Uh,
said he would get tangled up, and it wasn't easy getting back there.
yeah,
And he saw the stuff laying there, and he's like, I don't know what made me go back there, or he's like, I don't know what did, but I did. And he said, I just looked straight forward and I saw that, and he said he picked it up, and but he said it wasn't easy getting back there though.
yeah. So straight ahead is where we came in,
Right.
and it's not, and you'll see. So right straight ahead is where he put his boat. Okay.
Hmm.
So as he's coming in, then he puts his boat right there. The items were right off to the side. So this is where the items were left. Is right off to the side of this. Okay. And let's see, we're going ahead and dock it there. Let me pull up the next video. 164 657 164. Okay, here's the next video. And I apologize. I thought I posted all of these. All right, so this is where the boat. Oh, hold on. That must have just been a 170. 1 second. 170. All right, here's this. It's this one actually.
So this is
All right, so right here is where the boat would have docked here. The items were left off to the side. The purse, the cell phone, right? And then this is where, remember where he said that he kind of walked around a little bit and checked around. Now this is me recreating that, walking around to checking around, right? What made him decide to go down there? And kind of talk about like everything that you talked about with him. What was it like? Like what made him go that way? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the
I think it
why.
was, yeah, like maybe just curiosity, or maybe wanting to help, maybe, and wasn't sure. Uh, I don't think he really knew why. He just said he just did.
Just because of the curiosity of the gunshots.
Yeah, and the crying that he heard. Because I mean,
Because
he don't even believe that the crying was like like real. You know, like maybe it was somebody playing like a tape
playing
recorder or something. Yeah,
really.
and yeah, and he's like, I don't know why I did it. He said if I had to do it all over again, he said I probably would have just went on about my business. So, but he just, I don't know, just react.
Well, when I was out there, now I don't know if it had to do. I believe it had to do. I mean, I'll put it like this, because we only went on the boat one time. I had been out there, boots on the ground, 10 plus. All right. When I was out there, boots on the ground, never really heard gunshots go off. When I was out there on the boat, weird, you got the side eyes coming out, going back in. Uh, there's a lot of activity, and you can see on the little video that Trey and I did when we were on the boat. After we got done doing this exploring, we kind of pulled off to the side and kind of discussed it in a video, kind of our experience about it. During that time, there's a lot of shots going off. So I don't know if I gotta imagine it's normal, because I think in the area that we were at, that there's personal land, there's hunting going on. There's hunting going on, but I don't know if it's necessarily something that's normal. So, and the gunshots coming from that area wouldn't be normal, because that's back in the slough where we were at talking, was more on Lumber River going up north of this area when we kind of paused it and sat down. Now the crazy thing to me was like the other boat, right? The three people that he saw as he was going in and leaving.
Mm-hmm.
The three other people, the two gentlemen and the younger lady, thought one of them was the dad of the girl. To see another boat coming in that slough, which it's already hard to get through there, that's something that was shocking to me too, because it's like it was already hard and closed up for people to navigate. So for somebody to, like you had to have been real close, and then that they said that they heard the gunshots too.
Yeah, and I think the people on the observation deck heard them too. I think, if I'm remembering right.
I think he said, yeah, the 10 plus, and they were the ones that were calling 911. I think they said they had heard it too, and were calling 911. So, so he just, the curiosity, maybe you heard this and the crying. Why did he think that? That's interesting, because I don't remember him mentioning, and maybe that was the conversation that you guys had about how it might have been like somebody playing a recording of that. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. What made him feel that it could have been that? Like,
well, he feels like where, I guess, where he was at in there, like whoever was there or back there probably could have saw him and where he was at, but he couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And he just said nothing made any sense on how, like, her stuff was over there. There was no kind of like red evidence anywhere, like nothing. And he just saw her stuff, and when he went back there, and there was no indication that anything had happened besides just hearing the gunshot and the faint cry. So he didn't see like anything red in the water, or anything. He just
just saw the stuff laying there,
Right,
and then asked if other people had heard it too, and they had heard it too.
right, right.
Now I've heard one shot and two shots as well.
Mhm.
Uh, was he? What was he? Was it one shot or two shots that he heard?
He said, let's see, he said one, and then he said once he, I guess, like got calmed down and was thinking about it, and because he wasn't sure if it was two or if it was like an echo or what, but the people at the observation deck and uh, some other people were saying they heard two. So he's like, well, maybe it wasn't an echo. Maybe it was actually two shots and not just the echo of the one.
Yeah, the fisherman that found her belongings. There's a kayaker that had went back there, and I believe he said he hit a log, and
Mm-hmm.
then after he bumped into the log is when part of her foot
But
came above the water. If somebody is, and I'll be honest, if somebody is submerged, uh, just being there, like I said, even a half inch underwater level, you're not you're not able to see any kind of outline or any kind of nothing. And so if somebody is fully submerged that back there, I could see how nobody would see anything. And plus, you got all the reflection because of how dark it is. You have all the reflection from the sunlight and all of the foliage coming down on the water. I mean, you can see it right in front of us. It looks like a clear cut copy of the image that is right side up until it hits the water and then goes upside down. So things can get camouflaged back there. That's one of the
mm-hmm.
things that kind of was crazy to me is I didn't understand whoops I didn't understand how you could see personal items and stuff like that. But then again, this is really the only place that you can dock the boat, and it comes right up to the path. And so
Mm-hmm.
when he's talking about, even when he was talking like with the park rangers, and there's the path, even when he's talking like with the park rangers, he's even asking them like, yeah, that, the path that leads right off here, like it's almost like he knew the area, better than the people that were working there, because it is right off that path there that kind of curves around in circles. But it didn't make sense, like how, like the fact that Micah would even have gone back there, because it's quite a distance, and
Yeah, and I
you can get.
asked him too. Did any like anyone that he's talked to, or did anyone actually see her walking that day? And he said no, nobody saw her. So nobody saw her when she got out of her car and walked that way and went back there supposedly. And you had that big old what was it, that fish fry or something going on that day? Somebody would have seen her.
Yeah. The members don't have the watermark, but as we're discussing this, I don't. Um, yeah, that mucky water. So,
Yeah.
I also went to the different locations, and we're gonna go into like the interview that she did. It's in 3 parts. And here's her link again, Veronica, and I'll be sharing the links to those parts as well. So one of the things that when I was out there in the members section here, let me go to this because I can actually go off the videos. Okay, so here there was 3 different locations, and this was one of the things that the 2 major things that maybe can kind of help clear up is the 3 different spots for the lighter: McClellan's, Floyd's, and Orem Grocery and Grill. They're in totally different directions, and they look totally different. And so getting confused or mixed up with one or the other is confusing. And then also when it came to the amount of money, there's been different statements when it comes to exactly 500, a little over, all of those. Did you guys discuss those 2 things as well?
I believe we did. I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did. And I know we did discuss about the gas station and the whole lighter situation. So yeah, we did get into that. And I know he didn't say why he said a different gas station. He just said the one that he went to, that Orms.
Yeah.
He went there because he could see his boat from, see his stuff from outside and knew the people, and that's why he went there. So that way he could just run in real quick and grab a lighter and not have to worry about locking everything down.
Right. Yeah, because let me click on that video real quick. This is and I drove him from Lumber River State Park to this is a 23-minute drive. Okay, because I went there and then I came back, and that's a 23-minute drive. All right, so this is the Orem's Grocery and Grill, Gas and Grill, can't remember. Let me go full screen on that. And these are all
the one that's, is that the one that's the closest or the furthest? Because I know there was a couple of different ones.
This one, let me see here. Let me go back. I think that one was
I remember you went to a Dollar General too, didn't you?
That's by a Dollar General. The one, the Orem's, is right by a Dollar General. Oh shoot! It took me all the way back to the top. 1 second. Hold on.
I know he said he went up there and tried to get
there we go,
whichever gas station to show or have them show the footage of when he was in there to try and help, but they said they wouldn't release that to him, that they would only release it to law enforcement. So
yeah, it's about the same actually, because this one is Floyd's. So you guys saw the Orem G&G. This one is Floyd's, and then the other one's McClellan's, and they're kind of like little teeny shops off the side here. Let's see if I can find it as I scan. It's like a little building. Is this it? Hold on. They're like little teeny stores. Yeah, this one right here. This is Floyd's grocery. Oh. So that's Floyd's grocery right there. It's a little teeny gas station right off to the side. That is actually longer. So yes, the other one, the Orem G&G is closer. Contribution call out Missy Sue, and thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. There will be a membership link that'll drop down a playlist that you'll be able to automatically go to all the members only stuff. But yeah, there was 3 different locations with the lighter. When it came to the money, was what when it with the 3 locations. What?
Yeah, I don't think we really got into why the different locations, or
Yeah.
I wish we would have. But like I said, I mean, we were going to talk more, and it's not going to happen now. But
Yeah. Was there anything about the money that you guys about the
yeah, he
little
talked
over
about
500?
that. Yeah, he talked about that too. I don't know if he said 500. I think he might have said 500. I know he said he counted up to, and then he just stopped.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he was, like kind of embarrassed, like that he looked, and because he was like, I'll just tell you everything was in there. She had her bank card, some pads, and this and that and the other, and so I don't know if maybe it was like maybe feeling embarrassed going through a woman's purse, or what. I mean, and why the different amounts, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me see here. So I want to go to. Hold on a second.
I wish we could talk to some of the people that were there, like on the observation deck, because he said he went up there and like laid the purse down and was looking and stuff there, and then that's when they, I guess, whoever said that they had called 911.
Yeah, there was every time that I go, there's usually people on the observation deck. A lot of people are fishing.
Yes,
Off
we
the
know we've
deck.
earned $1,300. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, we can get into that a little later on. What I'd like to
Yeah.
do is I would like to do the first video that you did of setting the record straight, part 1, with that. So is when you did this interview back then, and I'll drop the link to the first episode here in a second. When you went back then for that interview, how long had you been talking to him at that point, and when he was ready to be comfortable discussing things on the record?
Well, I actually messaged him back when we were trying to get him to meet up with you out there.
Right.
And
Because we were going to try and go on the boat
yeah,
together, me and Johnnie, so he
yeah,
could show us, his story when it came to the fisherman's boat trip, because we did that one. And
Right.
yeah, I wish I would have been able to. Um,
Yeah, I was so hoping for that too, and I was even going to try and get up there with y'all.
yeah.
But really, I mean, because I had messaged him about I was trying to get him to talk with you and meet up so y'all could do that, and I sent him a message, and I think a little bit of time it went by, and I thought, well, it probably went to his spam or whatever, so he probably didn't get it. And I think I sent him a friend request, and then I tried messaging him again, and he kept having phone problems. And so finally, he was able, I guess, to see that I did send him a message, and he says, he thought about it, and he wasn't sure because he really didn't want to, I guess, like stir the pot anymore or anything, and but he was like, well, I'll talk with you, and I'll just tell you everything, and you know so it was right after too. I just gotten my voice back again at that time,
Yeah.
so it was, yeah, we talked for a while.
Yeah. Because RC, he was receiving threats as well. That's what
Yeah,
we heard. Can you talk about any of that? About
yeah,
maybe some of that.
yeah, and that was one reason, like he was worried about speaking out again, or because I mean, you got people out here that, like they don't think, okay, well, the justice system's gonna do the justice system thing. They're gonna take matters into their own hands and get justice themselves. And so Johnnie was getting a lot of hate and, threatening messages like sent to him. And I show some of those in the video. And
Okay.
it's like, this is not how we get answers. This is not how we do this. Like you have to have respect for people and not take matters into your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, he was scared. I mean, because I mean, you do have crazy people out there. I mean, it's just how it is.
Yeah, and then when there's other people on the platform that uh,
Yeah,
don't think about that aspect, and that's
right.
why she kind of said what she said to me um, when she came out there and was talking to me. Uh,
Yeah,
that's why she's upset, is because, oh, I'm supposed to be next now. Like, it's
right. Yeah.
you
And it's
know,
scary, I mean, because she lives not far from him, and I mean, he pretty much had to distance himself from his family and from people that he was close to in order to protect them. So, I mean, people don't think of like the actual, situation that it puts people in when they do speak out.
yeah, yeah, they're just going off of what can get them
Right.
the most attention and not necessarily think about the
Repercussions. And I mean,
right.
because I mean, these are real human beings and real families, and
Yeah.
they have feelings, and they're already having to deal with the shock of losing their loved one, and now they're having to deal with someone stirring a pot and taking things out of context just to hurt people,
Mm-hmm.
and not giving the actual facts and the backstory of the $1,300 that was burned. So I mean,
Can
there's
you,
an actual story with that.
when it comes to that, and that's a good question too from LG. Did he have an idea of who was only, with what you can speak on, is did he have an idea of who
uh,
it was like sending these or like burner accounts, or
it it was just like just Facebook Messenger, people from Facebook, or within like the that join like the Justice for Mica movement and stuff. They, I mean, they just flat out just message like, you had something to do with it, and you're a murderer and this and that and the other, and I'll come and do this to you and do this to your family. And it's like, whoa, and it's like, sir, I promise you I had nothing to do with it. I just found her things.
Did he report those to Facebook that you know of? Like, was there any kind of, or were they just
I
fake
don't know if
accounts that got banned, or
I'm not sure really.
yeah,
I don't know, because I mean he really wasn't like very tech savvy, I mean he knew how to get on
yeah,
Facebook and
yeah,
stuff like that. But I mean, as far
yeah.
as you know, I know he had to make a newer Facebook account because one of them kept getting hacked, and then even this one that he had kept getting hacked. So, but I don't
Mhm.
know if he reported it to Facebook or not. I know he kept screenshots just in case.
Hmm.
So,
What 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 was about the 1300? That
well,
got burned. What?
in the conversation we had, and the whole reason why he really, well, there's two reasons why he really brought it up in the conversation that me and him had. And according to his friends and family, like this was nothing that he kept hidden, and it was just like one of those things where, he had the money and it was his money. It wasn't money that somebody paid him, or, if it was for a job that he did, as in his woodwork, because he did custom build in people's homes and things. But it was for some furniture, I guess he was going to go get that day, and decided to go fishing because it was his day off. And he'd end up getting a phone call and someone telling him like, hey, somebody just pretty much doxed you and did this and that and the other. So he's just like freaking out, like, oh my goodness, and so he's not thinking. And he's like, well, I got this trash in my truck, and I don't know, I guess he got it mixed up with the trash and got to burning it, and then realized it when it was too late. But but one of the reasons the other reason why he had brought it up in our conversation was to pretty much be funny, like he was making a joke out of a negative situation
Yeah.
at that time. Because at the beginning of our conversation, as we're talking, I'm working, and the first order I had ended up being a good order, and he was like, well, I'll tell him, you're gonna have to stay on the phone with me now when I'm working because you're good luck. And he's like, all right, well, you're gonna have to send me half or something, just being funny. And when he got to talking about that $1,300, which was towards the end of the conversation, he's like, well, the moral of the story is I really need that $5. So it was more or less meant to be a joke that, and it just got thrown way out of context and, you know, turned into something that it wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's do, was he he said that he was getting a lot of the threats and stuff.
mhm,
You said that he even mentioned he had to distance himself for
mhm.
other people's protections because of it. Was there
Right.
anything that had taken place at his residence, or was it just mainly the
If it did,
online?
if it did, it was really nothing that he could probably prove.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was just so much going on, and it's just, I mean, he wanted his family protected, so, and that's why he really, he was worried. Like he said, he would check his cars and stuff. He was worried that somebody was gonna do something with his cars, and he was worried that his phone was being tapped and stuff. And
Tapped, huh?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I don't know if his phones were tapped or if it was just the phone quality or what, but I mean, he's just reading and seeing all this stuff, so it kind of spooks you, and you don't know, you're not all tech and know about how the things work.
Yeah. Um, did he, like, was he did he after the initial investigation that took place for her unaliving,
Mm-hmm.
um, did he discuss or are you able to answer anything as to if he had been questioned?
He actually said that he went to the police department, and this was before they ruled it, and they were in the process of ruling it. And he went to the police department and told them that he doesn't think that she did this to herself, and this needs to be investigated. And one of the officers actually told him that well, come, what was it, a Monday or something, whatever day it was that they came out with it, and told him that, well, they're going to rule it this on this day. And he was like, but it needs to be investigated. And he kept pushing and pushing, and I guess finally that's when they called in FBI and stuff. And but every time he would try and get in contact, or he just kept getting the runaround. But
So he was
did keep
trying to
Yeah,
he was trying to
have it more
to
investigated.
right, to push for more investigation because it didn't seem
Right.
it didn't seem so I think that's one of the things that can help a lot of the confusion, because there's even confusion on my end, and
Right.
that's one
And
of the
it does
things
get
that can help
confusing.
with the
Yeah.
confusion is somebody was actually still trying to say, hey, I'm part of this and there's more to this, you need to look
Right.
deeper. If somebody, if they did commit a crime, who's going to say, hey, you need to look deeper, you need to look deeper, you
Right.
need to look deeper, right?
Right.
um
Right. And they would
so
just give them the runaround and say, okay, well, we'll call you, don't call us, pretty much.
yeah,
And
take your name and number and we'll call you back, and then you wait.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I told him, I was like, man, that's really gotta hurt, especially with that being your hometown. And like, no one is like trying to speak out and say anything, and you're just like there
Right.
left to the wolves by yourself.
And with the $1,300 and trying to make a joke out of it, when he was like, hey, I could use the $5 right now.
Right. Yeah.
Another content creator had totally
Yeah.
it seems like this same person continues to just muck up shit wherever they go, and it just gets really disgusting. But they had manipulated that conversation and like Michael said, created a lot of
Yeah.
caused a lot of mess, and
Oh
were
yeah.
a cause,
I'm
I can
getting
imagine, of a lot of the threats,
right.
to, because
I'm even getting backlash and stuff for it. And they're like, people are telling me, well, you're not justice for Mica and this and that and the other.
yeah,
And I'm like, look, I'm just asking for
yeah,
people to find out the whole conversation, and I'm like, I think I know what was said because it was me talking to him, and it's, I'm like, I've done laid everything out for you. I can't feed it to you. You're going to have to look for yourself.
yeah.
So, and
Well, and
it,
that's part of the problem. People don't take the time. They'll take the time to listen to somebody else talk like
yeah,
they know, instead of taking less time to go listen or find the real stuff,
right,
And
right,
that's a big problem these days, is so many people are willing to just they're not going to do their own homework, and it's like you could have less time finding the real stuff than taking the extra
right.
time to hear about the BS. And
Yeah,
so
because just
that
that one little snippet does not tell you the whole thing, and then he's pushing it and pushing it, and it's creating more like hate and what is it,
oh, trust me, I know you did the fake 911 call
yeah, with you,
on
yeah,
my ass, because I was the people
yeah,
that were giving him information were starting to give it to me,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he didn't like it.
and everybody's fine with that, and then if we say anything about it, we're the bad guys, and I don't understand that. It's like, no, like, I am
Because
showing you the
they
truth and the receipts.
It's because they have their own personal agendas for their own selfish reasons, and it's not necessarily about the victims, which it should be. There's
Right.
just people that
Exactly.
are on a pulpit preaching. Uh,
Yeah.
it really, when you look at a lot of these characters that are involved, these people act and do things the same way. They're just on different spectrums, but really they're doing the same stuff. The
Right.
effects and the emotions and the manipulations and
Yeah.
all of that for them to
And
get what
it's
they want, not what is for the
yeah.
community.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
it's sickening, especially when a family is grieving and trying to plan a funeral, and then you have someone over here just yelling and yelling and yelling about this one thing, and it's like, let these people grieve, you know? I mean, let these
right,
people plan their funeral. And I can understand, like text, like when I had to come up with a different way to communicate. Like I physically could not talk at the time. And my first thought is protecting this family.
yeah,
And, so that was how I was able to communicate that was like, hey, stop talking about the $1,300 until you find out what actually happened and the conversation and the context and everything, and stop giving this family hell while they're trying to grieve. That's not
right.
fair to them. They
Well,
had nothing to do with this.
and the easy thing is reach out to the person and have a conversation that is
Right.
involved.
Yeah. And I
Before,
tried to
in
do that
essence,
and I get blocked,
right?
you know? So, I
Yeah,
mean, how can I defend anyone when you're blocked? You don't have a voice.
yeah. No, it's yeah, and
Sorry.
that's no, you're good, and that's what the majority of it is it's just it's narrative and manipulation. um but what after the investigation though, was there any kind of interviews that you know of or can speak of based off of your conversations that were taking place at any time beyond the like yeah, the interviews before they came up with their ruling or their determination, but as it went into the summer, into the fall, into the winter, um was there do you know was there do you know of any was there anybody that was like any agencies that were kind of talking, or anything that you can speak on if you are able to?
Uh, am I still here? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I know he kept trying, and I want to say
So,
yes,
yeah.
but, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, if you can't, that's fine.
yeah,
There's- Um, yeah, it's so he was throughout the summer, throughout the fall, still trying to push for things to get
yeah,
investigated deeper because still things just didn't make sense. Um,
right,
and that had to be a tough position too if you're getting all those threats, and then you're trying to even push harder for things to be investigated more, and so it's like you're trying to do everything that you can do, but at the same time,
right,
um, it
yeah.
it
You
looks the
have
complete
people that
opposite.
that
Yes.
want to be like visual. What is it? Visual antis? Did I say it right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he really did try, and I've heard from people that were closest to him, say that, I mean, like he would cry his eyes and say, like, I know something's not right, and trying to figure it out himself.
What did can you speak on what he like what he maybe thought of what really took place, you know, like
Yeah.
was there ever like from the beginning to end it seems like cuz I know when I'm doing my work and it's all about probabilities and what makes sense based off of the evidence and things and what scenarios would match and what don't. um was there ever any kind of like I really feel like this is what took place from beginning to end? Was there anything like that?
Mm,
Like did he I know that there's the the official
right.
determination, but was there like man, I really feel like this is what took place and this is how it happened and this is whatever.
I think with everything like being thrown out with the AI and all that stuff, he's thinking that because even he was trying to figure out the whole like the 911 call. Like he doesn't believe that was Mica on that 911 call. And
Because you can't get a connection out there or
right,
because it's
yes,
something.
yes.
Yeah.
And he even said when he talked with her sister when they were out there that, like she couldn't get a connection. And he was just like, I'll just meet you out there, because we're not going to be able to talk on the phone with you out there. And we got to talking about the cries that he heard, and he's trying to figure out like, okay, because people are asking him too, like, well, what kind of cry was it,
Yeah.
and he's like, I that cry could have been AI, and I said, yeah, or maybe tape recorded or something, and he was like, and that's what he firmly believed was that it was not her. And he said that no one saw her that day, and that when he went back there, there was nothing like except for the bag and her belongings there, but nothing else that was, like you would think you would see when walking on a scene like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because you go to the parking lot, okay, and you park at the parking lot, you get out to start walking on the path, and as you're walking there, there's like a memorial log off to the left, and literally that's where your phone drops off. If I can try and find the video here, that's where the phone just it literally just and good luck. Um, my first couple times being there, I'm like, holy crap! I'm trying, and I even had like a Wi-Fi, extra Wi-Fi thing, and I was trying everything, and you just can't get a connection. And if you do get a connection,
you better
um,
stay right there.
right, because
Yeah.
one of the trips I had to call a tow truck, and I literally had to like, I'm walking. This was in the parking lot, and I'm walking towards the road, and it's like, can you hear? Oh, okay, right here. And you constantly had to move because it is just so spotty there. So for somebody to make the call, uh, right out there and
Yeah.
have, I mean, hell, you even hear the kayakers 911 calling. It cuts out
Right.
really bad right there too.
Yeah, and Johnny talked about the like all the sounds and stuff you hear out there, the birds and
Birds and nature,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he says, when I was out there for that interview with that news lady, he was like, that's all you heard was all that stuff, and he's like, I don't understand how it was so quiet and where she got a signal from.
Yeah, the birds,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's one of the anytime that I'm trying to find. I don't remember the dates. For some reason, it's all separated by dates. I thought I had the title of Lumber River in those, so I don't remember the dates. There's I'm gonna have to go through this, but yeah, as you're walking through there, you can hear like the nature and all the sounds, and to not hear that on the 911 call either. So, um, but did he just said it was more suspicious. He didn't kind of like, like being there, kind of being in that setting. He didn't like have like I think this is kind of what happened, or this what makes the most sense.
Mm, to be honest, I really don't know. I know that he would try and figure it out and just,
Yeah.
um, I mean, I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah. Matthew is asking, did he ever mention Lisa Liss Jacobs or Joshua Johnson?
Not that I remember. I would have to go back and listen. I know if there was any names, like his sister's name or anyone else's names that were mentioned, I did redact those.
Redact it, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would have to go back and re-listen to the uncut or the unredacted audio that I have.
Yeah. You know what? Is maybe we could go maybe we could do another show where, because I know we're hitting that 2 hour mark here. Maybe we could do it. How long total is that conversation? I'm gonna drop the links for you guys, so you can check them out before, and go shout out and show some love to Veronica. There's part 1, 2, and 3, and I'll drop each link for you here. Is how what's the total? Is it like a 2 hour, 3 hour conversation?
I would say probably about an hour and a half, give or take.
Okay.
Cause like I said, the only thing I did redact was things that we were saving for
Yeah.
FBI and, personal information like names and stuff like
Right.
that. Because I don't want anyone getting hurt or gone after or whatever that's not
Of course.
involved.
Of
Yeah.
course. Because that's not the goal of this. It's really because, like I said, like, I mean, you can even remember, like, back then, Veronica, our conversations, we were on two totally different ends of the fence there.
Yeah.
When it came to certain things, and it's always been all love, because it's all
Yeah.
nothing but respect, even regardless. And so, as we've been talking the last week, and I've kind of been talking more, to you about this stuff, and it's like, yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
understand a little bit too.
Yeah, and even
There's
he
some
says, like
confusion.
he understands why people would think he's suspicious, and because after he learned, I guess when they came out with the full like investigation thing that they did, and I think it might have been Flo or somebody had mentioned something about the time,
Yeah,
1:27, and that was
yeah,
when Mike was at the gas station. And
yeah,
he talked about that in there, and he was like, yeah, and when I found that out, I was like, yeah, that does sound pretty suspicious.
yeah.
So,
Because you're talking about the time. You're talking about the time Mica was at around SC41.
mhm,
And so, and when you're looking at what I was digging into, uh you know when I first came across the path, I was like, man, you can Google it. It's between Sparky's and, the exit to take to get to SC41. It's somewhere in between there, if Google's taking you that way. taking you that way to Lumber River State Park, because as soon as you leave the pawn shop, if you're heading to Lumber River State Park, you're going up Highway 17. You're not going on 501. I mean, from as soon as you leave the pawn shop, it's taking you on a totally different route. And so when we started to look into that area, and you start to see the connections in that area, then you start to see the connections to the kayaker to that area, and then you're recalling a time, it's the time that was told to him, because
Right.
Johnnie was calling him to, hey, what time was it about when when this, and it was
Yeah.
about that time. So that was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it was like, maybe that dude just spit out a different time, and it was like, wait a minute, huh? But there's so many things that went on.
Right.
It was like, well, maybe I'm thinking this, or I'm not thinking clearly. But the fact that somebody else told him that specific time,
Right.
of that person recalling the time, was yeah, that was a crazy thing too, because I know when we first heard that in the interview, it was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's when she was right around
Right.
SC
Yeah, and I mean,
41.
I even had my thoughts too, you know, because I mean, I was like a lot of people, like, well, you know, this and this don't line up or add up. But once you actually talk with a person and, you know, get more of an understanding of how their mind works and how they think and stuff, you know, you get more of a, I guess, like a personal feel of how
Yeah.
that person is, you know. And I mean, and if you, like you said earlier, put yourself in their shoes at that time, you know, and it really does give you a different perspective. And so I kind of, you know, went towards, you know, well, maybe, you know, because he's like, I don't know why God put me there. And I'm like, well, maybe he put you there so Micah could be found. So, I mean, and I know it's easy to, you know, take something and run with it, and you know, but until you actually do get to know someone and, you know, see how they work and how their mind works, you know, you kind of, you know, start understanding a little bit more. Okay, well, this is how they think, so, you know, they wouldn't react the same way you would or I
Yeah.
would, you know. So but yeah, I mean,
Um,
I had my doubts and stuff too. I mean, there was questions I've asked in past videos and, you know, brought stuff up, and, you know, I mean, I was the same way.
right. Yeah, because it is, and that's one of the reasons y'all talked. Um, Sarah is asking, did Johnnie say if Micah's family ever reached back out? Did they ever hear his true story? And that's a good question as well.
Yes,
Do you know?
he did keep in contact with them. I think till like maybe up to a certain point, and he even offered to take the sisters out on the boat and show them exactly where and what. And I forget which sister that said no, she wouldn't be able to do that, but maybe the other sister would.
Yeah.
And he met with them out there and showed them, you know, on the ground, not on the boat or anything, but where
Right.
exactly everything was, and told them. And he's, I mean, he said nothing but good things about the family. They were really nice. And um he even asked them if they got the money, if the law gave them the money from Micah's purse, and they said no, JP will probably get that. And he says, well, dang, if I'd have known that, I would have took it and gave it to y'all. So
Yeah.
but
Mm.
yeah, he said they were really nice to him, and he liked them, and they seemed to like him. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, there's just so much out there, and yeah, stuff doesn't make sense. I wish I would have, that's one of the things I'll always wish, is I would have been able,
yeah,
being on the boat before, being through that. I don't know anybody else that's done that except me and Trey,
Right.
going through that exact route, showing you guys and experiencing that atmosphere and the navigation aspect, especially.
Yeah.
It would have been I really would have liked to been able to get on the boat and be able to do that, but you know uh there's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of emotions that people are manipulating, and that's one of the, I felt bad for his sister
Mhm.
out there, because you could tell she was really angry
Yeah.
about that. And all you can do is uh, just try and send extra prayers and hope that humanity could have a different approach to things
Right.
sometimes. Um, but yeah, I would like to, if we can tomorrow night, I would like to, if it is another night, I would like to as well. Is I would like to kind of cover the conversation that you guys had, maybe just in its own show.
Okay.
That way we can kind of talk through it as you're having the conversation, and we can kind of keep this. Um, is there anything when it comes to the confusion, uh, when it comes to any of the narrative that might have been pushed that's not necessarily true about the situation? Is there anything that you would like to speak on behalf of any of the confusion or narrative, and maybe something that we didn't get to?
Well, I mean,
uh
I think we pretty much covered it. It was mainly just the manipulating the conversation and making it seem one way when that's not actually how it happened and what was said. And
right,
and like
and
I
we can
said, I
get
mean,
into that when we do
yeah,
the night or the yeah.
yeah, and I mean, it's just just be kind and think. I mean, these are really like real life people. It isn't the movies, and
Right,
the way if you have a big
especially with those
platform,
threats.
you have a big responsibility. You have people that follow you, and you know, you just have to think of those things.
Yeah, it's especially with those threats, you
Yeah,
know um
yeah. And that's
that's
nothing to be taken lightly. If someone threatens you and is saying these things to you, I mean, anyone would be scared and worried.
well, it's I'm telling you, like, I could see and hear and feel the anger, the sadness, the frustration,
Mhm.
the nervousness, all of those emotions. I could see it in her eyes, and hear it in her words. And so yeah, it's you do especially the people with the bigger platform. We all have a responsibility as independent journalists, or whatever you want to call some of the others. um,
Right,
we all have responsibilities, and but
right.
that's why
There's a right
sometimes
way and
people,
there's a wrong way.
yeah, sometimes people love the Springer shit, unfortunately. But it's fine if you're talking peanut butter sandwiches, but it's something else when we're
Right,
talking victims, families, and communities
right.
for that. So I want to say thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
being open, for being able to hang out with us tonight and discuss this. I'm going to drop these links for you guys. This is the part one of Veronica's video uh, with Johnnie. That's part one. Here is part two. So make sure you click on it, add it to a playlist, come back, get the next one. It'll be in chat as we're ending the show. Here's part three, and we will we'll figure it out after the show, either tomorrow night or an upcoming night. We'll go ahead and go through the conversations, and kind of dig more into that, and then kind of discuss as we're going through the interview and stuff like that. So, and then we can kind of go deeper into some of the aspects of that. That way, we're not rushing this or rushing that. We give each thing the delicacy that it deserves, and if the time
really
that it
appreciate
deserves.
it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you, and thank you for all that you're doing out there, for everybody in the community as well. And you guys, if you're not subbed up, please go sub up to her. She does a lot of amazing work, for these victims and these families and communities. So go show her some love too. So we'll have you on again here very soon, either tomorrow or another night where it might be better, whichever you decide. It's up to you. Definitely go sub up to her. And we will be back discussing this some more. And then, like I said, later on this weekend, we'll try and get Narc Divers on here. He went out there with me as well, and we'll try and see if we can get all of us together for another show as well. But please send extra prayers to Johnny's family, and all of the loved ones and the community out there too, because it's always a community thing. Always a community thing, even if it's one or two people. A community is affected as well, no matter what. So it's the important thing. So just spread peace and love, positive, progressive approach, and we all win and we all succeed the right way. So again, thank you so much, Veronica. Appreciate you very much. Thank you all in chat. Also, I want to say contribution call out to Love Goldberg for the membership a little bit ago. Thank you for that. Thank you all. And thank you, Veronica, for your gifted membership as well. That is so sweet of you. And we will see you on the next show. Again, bunch of members only videos. Some of them scroll back to last summer. You'll see a lot of the work that we're doing. And I'll get some of the other ones posted. Please have a safe night. Peace and positive. And I love you guys and appreciate every single one of you. Be safe.
Okay over there? Alright, is your victim at the hospital? Someone shot there. Alright, do you see that you take pictures of the, is it domestic related? She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Where am I with this?
2412.
Veteran Craig Highlight calling in, so they have a female veteran medication. Bye.